Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, and it is a great day to be a fan of the New York Football Giants because the Giants have won a football game. No matter if it's August, September, October, I don't give a damn what month it is. When your football team wins a football game, it's a lot of fun. Let's break down some of these stats. Tyrod Taylor, he was the best quarterback of the night for the Giants. 13 for 21, 129 yards, 1 touchdown. Antonio Williams had a rushing touchdown, 9 carries for 61 yards. Collin Johnson was the Giants' best receiver. He had 7 for 82. Richie James also had a really good game. 3 receptions, 44 yards, and a touchdown. Jashaun Corbin was electric. He had 5 receptions for 28 yards. He also had 6 carries for 23 yards. Gary Brightwell ran the ball really well. There was a lot of good coming out of this way. And before we continue to break this game down, spam it in the comments. Giants win. If you want to type Giants win, go Big Blue, G-Men, whatever it is. Let's just celebrate this win because it has been a long time since the Giants have won a football game, and today they did that. If you're happy about it, if you love the Giants, type Giants win, go Big Blue, or G-Men in the comments section right now. Let's break this game down a little bit. Let's go back to the first couple of series. The Giants starters played for pretty much the entire first 2 series. Daniel Jones, 6 for 10, 69 passing yards. First drive of the game, offense marched down the field. They looked crisp. Darius Slayton had a 13-yard screen route catch. He looked good. Golladay had a catch. The Giants, I think, would have scored. Kenny Golladay, they got down to about the 6-yard line. Golladay ran like a 4-yard in route, but he was slow to it, and the ball bounced right off his chest. Was a drop pass, and that forced the Giants to settle for a field goal. The offense came back again for one drive. They did not score. Evan Neal did give up a sack. I don't want to say he looked bad, but he looked like a rookie. He struggled a little bit in camp so far, so I don't want to overreact, but he did give up a sack. Some injury notes. Shane Lemieux was on the sideline with his left foot in a walking boot. He left with a toe injury after the first series. Cor'Dale Flott also left with a groin injury, and Jamil Douglas, the backup center, left with an ankle injury. Those are all the injury news we have. Once we get more news on those injuries, we'll make sure to give you guys an update. That's why you subscribe. That's why you hit that big red button. Kadarius Toney did not play. Leonard Williams did not play. Aaron Robinson got torched a little bit, got tested a little bit on some deep routes. Saquon Barkley looked good. He only played the first drive. His official stats, Barkley had 4 carries for 13 yards, while also having 1 catch for 8 yards. On that catch, it was a 3rd and about 6, and Barkley was matched up one-on-one with a linebacker, and he took advantage of it, and he looked really, really good. Super chat coming in from my guy Devon. He said, who did good for us and who did bad? So I kind of just broke that down a little bit, but I would say my three guys that looked really good. Collin Johnson looked really good. He had a fumble, but outside of that, I mean, he looked really good. 7 grabs for 82 yards. Richie James looked really good. He had 3 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown. A nasty route inside the red zone on a one-on-one play. He looked really good. Saquon looked good. Sandro Platzkummer had a good run. A lot of people looked really good. Tyrod Taylor played really well. Davis Webb, I don't think anyone necessarily didn't look good. Aaron Robinson struggled a little bit. Golladay had that drop. Evan Neal gave up a sack. Bellinger had a catch. A lot of good from this game. That's what the first preseason game is about. It's about getting your feet wet, and I thought the Giants looked really, really good. That's why they came out with a W. But I want to ask you guys, all Giants fans and all the real ones out there, who do you think was the Giants' MVP against the Pats? If I have to say, it's Davis Webb, because he got the ball down 1 with about a little over 2 minutes left, and he led like a 60, 70-yard, game-winning drive, got the Giants in field goal position, and Graham Gano does what Graham Gano does. Game on the line, he made the field goal. So I'll roll with Davis Webb as my MVP, but I want to hear from you in the comments section right now. Let's take some more of your guys' questions. JR says, how was the offensive line? Overall, I would say the starting offensive line looked good. I think Andrew Thomas only played a couple of snaps. Feliciano, Mark Lewinsky, and Evan Neal. On my note, I haven't got to watch the game twice, which I'll do tomorrow night. They played majority of the first 2 snaps. Evan Neal did give up a sack, The backup offensive line struggled a little bit. There was some pressure on Tyrod Taylor as well as Davis Webb. But the run blocking from the offensive line was good. I felt like they were pushing people. They were creating running lanes for Saquon Barkley, and Gary Brightwell looked really good. And Jashaun Corbin ran the ball well. And so did Antonio Williams and Sandro Platzkummer. Even had 3 rushes for 21 yards. The Giants in total had 33 carries for 177 yards. That's 5.4 yards per pop. Anytime you do that, that's good. The offensive line struggled a little bit in pass blocking, but looked good in the run blocking department. Appreciate your question. Gianluca, he was tuned in all game. He said, how did the team perform under the new system? Some kinks that they got to work out. Looked like there was some timing that was kind of questionable sometimes between the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. The wide receivers in camp have talked a lot about having freedom to run routes a little bit deeper or shorter by just using their mind and their football IQ to get open, not running a cookie-cutter route. But that's going to leave some room for error. You got to have to iron those reps out and get on the same page. Golladay and Jones weren't on the same page as one point. I felt like Collin Johnson missed a couple of routes. Overall, I thought they looked good. It's definitely going to take some time to, get into the full groove. I thought Wink Martindale was really vanilla in his defensive coordinating and play calling, but that's what you do. It's game 1 of the preseason. You don't want to show too much. So overall, Gianluca, the team performed well. I thought this was a good first game for the Giants under a new staff. Jeremy Chugg's my guy. When does Tyrod Taylor start in place of Daniel Jones this season? The only way I think Tyrod Taylor is going to start games this year instead of a guy like Daniel Jones is if DJ gets hurt. I don't really think that Daniel Jones is going to play his way out of a starting spot. There's a lot of hype for Tyrod Taylor right now. He played damn good. 13 for 21, 130 yards, and a touchdown. He looked efficient. He looked like a vet out there, controlled the offense, but he was also going up against third-team defensive players with a second-team offense. So I don't want to read too much into it. Jones didn't look bad. He led a field goal drive. Would have liked to see him punch it in. Golladay dropped the ball. Overall, I thought he looked good. But to answer your question, Jeremy, I don't think Daniel Jones will be benched because even if he plays bad, that means your team's going to be bad. And that means you're probably in the top 5 picking a QB. And that's not the worst-case scenario for the New York Football Giants. If you love the Giants and you're looking for a one-stop shop on YouTube that posts Giants videos every single day and goes live and does Q&As and then goes live again 2 times a week, 1 time for game days and 1 day to preview the games, this is your channel. Hit that big red button. Subscribe to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We're trying to get to 11,000 subs on the channel. So if you bleed Giants blue, I promise you're going to love this channel. Hit that big red button. Elijah, my guy, what up, bro? He says, what happened to Wan'Dale and how did he do? So he only played a couple of plays. I don't think he was actually ever targeted or got a carry. The starting offense only played 2 drives. So I don't want to look too much into Wan'Dale Robinson not being involved. Again, it's week 1 of the preseason. Dable, Kafka calling the plays he was. That was Kafka. You don't want to show too much in week 1, and they didn't. They were pretty vanilla, and they were able to score a couple touchdowns. They looked good on that first drive with Jones. Don't read too much into Wan'Dale not getting targets or anything. I can't wait to see him play next week. Hopefully he gets involved. Braden, what up, man? Do you think we should sign BC Treader? No, I don't think we should sign BC Treader, but I would be down to sign JC Treader. Just kind of yanking your leg a little bit there. But if you can get better on the offensive line, I think you had to do it. I mean, with injuries coming up to Shane Lemieux, Joshua Azudu struggled a little bit, the rookie interior offensive lineman at North Carolina. Marcus McKeithen just tore his ACL early last week. So you're definitely losing some spots on the interior offensive line. Jamil Douglas had to get out of the game because of an injury. So I wouldn't be opposed to signing J.C. Treader. I don't know if he wants to play football, though. And I think since he's the head of the NFLPA, he might be being blackballed a little bit. But at the end of the day, anytime you can improve your team, I think you should do it. But it comes down to dollars and cents. I don't know if he's willing to play on a vet minimum contract, and that's really all the Giants could offer. Mr. Assassin, is Tony tweaked knee? So he had that surgery in the offseason. A little scope is what they called it. Not a really big injury to worry about. He did not play tonight, though. He's kind of been on load management all Giants training camp long. Had a couple of off days. He didn't even make the trip from the Meadowlands to Foxborough. I don't want to read too much into it. I think Dave will update us in the weeks to come. That's why you subscribe, because once we get injury news, we'll put it out there. But Tony has battled through some injuries. Missed like 7 games his rookie year. So I don't want to say I'm concerned about his injuries yet, but I'm definitely taking note of him, and sooner or later he's got to be on the field. Because if you go through year 2 as a rookie and you play 50% of the games again, it's not usually good for your NFL career. I want to ask you guys this question, though. What player impressed you the most tonight? I was impressed by Tyrod Taylor, by Davis Webb, Antonio Williams, Gary Brightwell, Jashaun. Corbin looked good. Collin Johnson looked good. Richie James looked good. Some players on defense. Micah McFadden looked really good. So did Darian Beavers. He was all over the football field. I have a lot of winners from this game. We'll do a winners and losers video coming up in a couple of days. But I want to hear from you right now. What player impressed you the most from tonight's game? Zach, what up, bro? Was Kayvon good for the quarter? I only had Kayvon playing about 7 snaps. I think he only played the first 2 series of the game. He did force a false start, so that's always good. You know, Kayvon Thibodeaux is an athletic beast, and he's going to put a lot of pressure on opposing offensive linemen. So in that department, he's always going to be in their head. But he didn't really pop off the page, I would say. I mean, not in a bad way or anything, but he didn't really do anything that great. Didn't do anything bad. Only played a couple of plays. I thought he did good in the run game. He found some work. Needs to work on his hand usage a little more. Was trying to bull rush some right tackles. But I think it's just reps. The more he works, the more he's going to get better. He's still just a young man, still a rookie. Big things still in store for Kayvon Thibodeaux. What was the Giants' best players and who was bad? Kind of touched on this a little bit already, but I'll go through it again. I thought Collin Johnson looked good. Richie James looked good. Corbin, Brightwell looked good. Slayton had a 17-yard gain. I liked what I saw from Saquon. I liked what I saw from Daniel, Tyrod, Davis Webb. Players that I thought didn't look good. I thought Aaron Robinson got picked on a little bit. Gave up a touchdown. Got beat deep a couple of times. Who else didn't look that good? I mean, Evan Neal gave up a sack. I don't want to read too much into this. It is just the preseason. There were some good players. There were some bad players. But subscribe, because we are going to do a winners and losers video coming up really soon. So stay tuned for that, and let's go Giants.